Let's do something with the plunge router now. Again, simple router techniques. You want to make sure your board is positioned and clamped. You need to think ahead, plan your routes. I'm going to route in the middle of this board so both clamps will be out of my way. If I needed to do from the start, I might have to position both clamps over on one side, route the first half of my sign or my groove, and then reposition the clamp, do the middle. Again, I like to use the table router as much as necessary or as much as allowed in order to avoid all this, the inconvenience of having to clamp. I know it's an inconvenience to clamp, but the safety issue overbears the inconvenience issues. Alright, to adjust it, you're going to loosen the stop bar, bring it up. I'm going to what's called zero the bit. Bring it down until it touches. That's setting on the wood. I'm going to look at the lowest stop screw. I want to go down about 1/4 of an inch. If I was going to go down 1/2 inch, I would set that and actually now rotate that back and create 2 passes. In this case, we're just doing a simple letter on a sign. Release the router back up. Left hand, right hand orientation, that's a matter of operator comfort. I am used to doing it this way. Takes a little bit of getting used to control a router freehand. The shallower the depth of the cut, the easier it's going to be. If you're creating a straight groove or a straight line, use a guide fence. Table router. Again, use this as much as possible for the convenience and the safety factors of it. There's a few parts I want to go over. Miter gauge slot for when you're routing cross grain or end grain. Allows you to keep control of the piece, gives you stability. Another feature this one has with a miter gauge, you can put an actual auxiliary or sacrificial fence to prevent the back of the workpiece from chipping out if you're not going to route the long grain. For example, in door construction. This particular model is a manufactured router, so there's no sub base. However, on this one there is what they call a guard ring. Goes around, so that would be the same as the sub base. Tries to keep as much surface area around the bit as possible. If it was a one where your router table where you routed or mounted the router into place, that would be the sub base of the router. It would be a big rectangular base. You have the fence. The fences are adjustable. On this particular model, it's a split fence system, so I can bring them in and out. I can also bring this one forward and back for creating different depths of cut. I have the tabletop, and I have the motor, which is mounted on the inside. The height adjustment is a lever on the front of this one. If it was a router, hand router mounted in a table, I'd have to unlock the router, adjust it accordingly, and re-lock it. They actually do make mechanisms now. They're quite costly, over $100, where you can actually adjust it from the top. It's a special fixture that goes on the router. So, again, it's a matter of preference whether you buy one manufactured unit, whether you make a dedicated router table and you mount your own router in it, or you have an interchangeable one with the interchangeable bases. Operation of a table router. Feed direction is right to left. On the router tables in our shop, we've got an arrow mounted for that direction. Certain ones are reversible for, they call it overarm routing, but that's a specific application that most router tables won't do. Feed direction again is right to left. Maintain that 3-inch margin of safety. Position a guard in place. This one's been removed for clarity. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump my hand over the bit, even though I'm following along, I'm 5 inches away. This is a 5-inch wide board. There's accessories you can use which are called feather boards or guide wheels to help keep it tight and keep it down, depending on how particular the joint needs to be. Doing door construction, that's very important. Miter gauge for in-grain routing. And the table router, you're going to position the fence. So you loosen the mechanism or the clamp, position it to where you need it to be, tighten the fence. On a router table, you're going to route the end grain, spin it around, and route the opposite end grain, then do your long edges. Again, we talked about chip out. That will help prevent it. That is how you operate a router table. One final note on care and storage of your router bits. Protect the carbide edges. Most of the router bits, when you purchase them, will come in some sort of case, whether they're individual bits or whether they're in multi-packs like this. Store the bits in their protective cases. That'll protect the edges, keep them sharp longer. If you nick a carbide edge on a round over bit, it's going to have a little line as it rounds it over, so protect the bits at all costs. Don't just throw them in a drawer. If they didn't come with a protective case like this, they just came with a piece of cardboard and plastic wrapping, some of the more economy bits, create a block for them to sit in on a shelf. Just take a 2x4 or a piece of plywood and drill 1/2 inch and 1/4 inch holes, space them out far enough so that way they don't bang into each other. Don't just throw them in a drawer. Don't let them hit each other. That's what will cause them to get nicked. It'll ruin the profile. I just don't know what else to say other than that. So please be careful with the bits. They're sharp. When you're taking the bits out, because of the fact that they are sharp, be careful when you grab them, especially the newer bits. And one final safety note, follow all the safety guidelines in this video with the manual. One thing I haven't noticed yet or haven't mentioned yet is routers produce a lot of dust. Most of it's going to fall on the floor. So be careful where you're standing, how your body position, and every once in a while take a few seconds to clean up. Because if you're slipped when you use a router, you're going to damage your project. The router will damage you. So clean up after yourself, follow all the safety instructions and suggestions that have been provided for you. Thank you for watching.